Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Node University Short Lectures. My name is Azat Mardan. I am the founder and the lead instructor at Node University. In this episode, I want to talk with you about this, THIS. This in JavaScript in Node.js is the very common source of a lot of bugs and mistakes. In JavaScript, this changes the value, especially when you're dealing with browser events and user events such as on-click, on-mouse over, on-blur. So all those browser events, typically they would give you a different value of this. So what is this? In many programming languages, this keyword refers to an instance of an object. So you would create a class and then you would instantiate it. You would create a new instance of that class, which would be a particular object, particular instance of that class, and by using this keyword you can refer to an instance, not to the class, okay? And you can refer to attributes, to fields, to certain methods on that object, on that instance, and everything is good. In JavaScript this has the same meaning, but when some other method or some other object invokes a method on your object, the value of this changes. The value of this changes, and you would not have the same attributes, the same values, because it would be the different object. In jQuery, for example, when you set up on-click event, user clicks on that on-click event, that function will get a different value of this. So you cannot rely on that value. You need to lock it. There are three main strategies how to lock the value, how to freeze it, how to make sure you are using the correct value. So approach number one is the oldest, is just to create a new variable. That's why you would see names such as that equals this, or underscore this equals this, or self equals this. So just create a new variable. You can use the name of that class, the name of that object, and use that variable, especially when you're creating new closures. So every time you create a new function or a closure, use that new variable, because every time you create a function, that's an opportunity for the value of this to change, or for you to have bugs, okay? Approach number two, which is very popular with React code and React developers. Approach number two is to use .bind. .bind will be executed on a function and it will give you a new function. So for example, function a.bind parentheses this. So you're passing this as the context, as the argument, and you're getting a new value which would be exactly the same, only the value of this would be always locked. It will be always the same, which is what you want. And the last approach, my favorite approach, is to use the fat arrow functions. The fat arrow functions will always log the value of this. It will be the value from the outer scope, which is typically what you want. It's your class. I like to use the fat arrow functions pretty much all the time because it's eloquent. And with React components, it's much better than to use bind. So those are three main approaches. When it comes to Node.js, you need to be careful when you're creating classes. When you're creating classes, try to use either .bind or to use that fat arrow functions. When you use the ES6 class style, the first level of methods, they would have the proper value of this. But then when you're creating functions inside of those methods, you need to be careful and use one of those three approaches that I listed. In Node.js, we don't have browser events, so in that sense, you are safe. There's no reason to worry about them. But when you're setting up inheritance, remember, in JavaScript, all the objects inherit from other objects, or even the keyword class. It's not a real class inheritance, it's a prototypal inheritance. So keep in mind that this keyword can bite you in the tail in Node.js as well. We don't have document in Node.js, but we do have the global object. So be careful. Be careful and make sure you are safeguarding yourself against the changing value of this. This is it for the Node University short lecture. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and go to node.university to check the latest video courses and blog posts. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.